Hey guys, welcome to You're Not My Type, Bro, a show where we talk about pop culture, current events, politics, entertainment, and so much more. We're so excited to have you guys. Please continue to like, subscribe, follow, and please comment in the comment section. We'd love to hear from you. Let's jump right into my personal favorite, my favorite segment, which is Cocktails and Complaints. Cocktails and Complaints.
I like it. My glass is getting empty here.
Right, cheers.
Everybody needs to complain every now and then.
You know what? I'm gonna let you guys choose. Who wants to be the first complainer this week?
I think Marko wants to go first. He has so many complaints that he is.
I mean, that one episode, you had a whole list. Just get it off your chest.
You want the whole list or the top 10?
Give me one.
Just one.
Give me one.
Dude. Wait, did I ever talk about ticket prices?
No?
Okay. Well, because I feel like I just had this discussion with somebody, and of course they agreed. Dude, what the fuck is going on, man? If you want to go to a show now.
Oh, those ticket prices.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about traffic tickets.
Yeah.
No, like concerts.
I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like $1,500, man.
$1,500.
If you want to go and see a good
Are we talking
show,
Beyonce tickets? What's going on?
No, for two people, I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
So I'm on Facebook with Instagram, and you know how, of course, they all know who you are and what you like and what you want. So I'm getting these suggestions, and I'm scrolling through. Okay, Paul Simon, AC/DC, freaking whatever it is, right? It doesn't freaking matter. I love all kinds of music. It doesn't matter if it's freaking George Benson. And then I'm like, okay, you know what? Samantha and I should go see the show.
Yeah.
And I click on StubHub. And then I'm like, some are decent, not front row, not all the way in the back.
StubHub is shit, by the way.
What's that?
StubHub is shit.
Oh, no, wait, no, it's a complete
Never,
racket. No,
yeah. no,
they suck. And I avoid all of them.
Through the ticket vendor.
Exactly, correct. And it's the only place you can get it, right? And dude, it's like $438 to sit in the middle of fucking West Bubble F nowhere. And then they have $60 per ticket processing fee and tax.
$60?
Yeah, no, dude, it's insane, man. If you want to go to just a regular art, like Paul Simon, I wanted to buy Paul Simon. Dude, it's $1,000.
Was this recent that you saw these fees? Because in the state of California, I didn't know this per previous employment, it's supposed to be lumped in now. The only thing that they can do at the end is taxes, but all the fees that the vendor wants to charge has to be.
It is, but it still shows you what it is.
Yeah.
It shows you what it is. And it's a complete ripoff, you know what I mean? And listen, there's no bigger capitalist than me. I'll make your money. I hope you guys make $1 billion a piece. But dude, it's like, pick a show. And you say Beyonce. You want to go see fucking Beyonce, dude? You better come with $3,000 to get decent seats.
If you want to be on the floor.
If you want to be on the floor, but what's the second, third row at Staples Center? $600, $400.
At the SoFi Stadium, I was on the second level and I paid like $300 or $400.
Okay, but that's insane.
Yeah.
Dude, that's $700.
Yeah.
$800 with tax for you and your date, and then you had a few beers, which we know is $25. $1,000 a beer.
Right.
So you basically need to come with $300,000 to go see Beyonce. You know what I mean? But that's what it feels like. No, seriously. So mind you, right now in America, 56% don't have $1,000 to spare. That's what I heard on CNN today. 56% of Americans, out of 340 million people, don't have $1,000. If you say, hey, can you give me $1,000 without it hurting you?
Right.
But you need $800 to go see Beyonce.
Yeah.
Hey, God bless her. I'm all for
So
it.
they have those ridiculous layaway programs for tickets.
I have had friends that have it's cheaper for them to leave the country and go and see the artist that they want to see in another country. It's cheaper for them to do that than to buy tickets to see them here in their own country.
Right. Yeah. And scalping is legal, and that's part of capitalism. It's a double-edged sword. But it doesn't matter. I wanted to go see Jerry Seinfeld. It doesn't matter, dude. It's like $400 for a decent seat. I'm not talking front row. It doesn't matter anymore. You better come with $1,000 to go with your date, or in my case with my wife, to go see a freaking decent show. And it just doesn't make sense anymore.
It is ridiculous, but I mean, it's just basic economics, supply and demand. If you have the demand, like if there's someone I really want to see,
Right.
I'll pay for it.
Right,
100%.
100%.
Like 2023, I went to way too many shows that I probably should have. But I will say is all those shows that I went to, I was perfectly willing to pay that, and I don't regret them because
Yep.
of the memories.
Yep.
But that's where they get you.
Yep.
If you go to, especially if you go to like a festival, which I think is probably your best bet in terms of value.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get multiple artists at once, then I can agree with it. But like typically, like I paid that ticket for Beyonce.
Yeah.
I paid it.
Yeah. No, and listen, and God bless you and God bless her.
Yeah.
I hope. Listen, I hope Beyonce gets $10,000 for the nosebleeds. All the power to you.
I don't know about that,
But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying. If you can get it, get it. But I just kind of, I don't know, man. It just sucks, man. You just said, unless you come with $1,000,
Yeah.
you ain't seeing a show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. That's my complaint of the week. Musicians should work for free. I'm a musician. I already work for free. So.
All right, Theo, what's your complaint?
I have a double complaint.
Oh.
Double
It's about the same topic, though. So, during COVID, people were not. I was just thinking about this yesterday. I went to Trader Joe's the other day, and it kind of took me back to. Remember when there was a line because they were only letting a certain number of people into the grocery store at a time during COVID?
Yeah.
I just had like a flashback memory of that, but whatever. During that time, we were using Instacart to like do your grocery delivery and everything. But I'm like, do they just hire anybody to work for Instacart that signs up to deliver groceries?
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you use Instacart for groceries, but I kind of just stuck with that because I like to get some groceries at Walmart because they tend to be a little bit cheaper than like going to like Ralph's down the street or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so
They take food stamps there?
Wow.
Listen,
God.
listen.
Yeah.
If I could get them, I would take them with the way grocery prices
So
are
would
right now. If I could get them,
I'm unemployed right now.
can I get them?
No, but the funny thing is, I'm probably the only one here that actually used them.
Do you have some now? Can I have
No,
some?
I didn't.
Yeah.
Dude, listen to me. I'm not going to interrupt in your thing. To this day, 2001, what is that, 24 years ago?
Yeah.
24 years ago, I was in the Ralph's, your Ralph's right here, using food stamps. Me and Andre from South Central, and I didn't know I was that ignorant.
Andre from Southside.
Yeah. Well, we were doing a rap rock band. It was at the time Linkin Park. That's what you were doing,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I thought it was like, oh my God, we can go get whatever we want. And then he had to educate me. No alcohol, no like steaks, no da 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 da. It
No
was
steaks.
Yeah, you couldn't buy meat with it.
That's food. Why wouldn't you not be?
No. They don't give you alcohol, no tobacco, no steaks. It had to be like
Oh, so they
canned
just don't
meat.
want you to have protein. I see.
Yeah. I don't know if
doesn't
it's
make
changed
sense.
now.
I think it's probably changed.
It's changed
There's a
now,
lot
but
that you can
he's
get.
like, no, dude, you can't buy Marlboro Reds with that shit. You know what I mean? So anyway, go on.
Anyway, back to my double complaint. I placed an order the other day, and they have this option in the app where if they don't have something, you can select a replacement. So I had like a cauliflower head. I put it in my basket, and they are usually in communication with you the whole time where they're doing the shopping. So just in case they come up with something that they don't have, you might have some things checked off already that you can replace it with. Yeah. But if that thing is not there, then obviously they're communicating with you. Tell me why I selected a head of cauliflower to put in my basket, and I didn't have a replacement for it, and this person replaced it with a bag of green beans. How did the two go together? Like, if it was cauliflower head and you maybe picked up a bag of cauliflower florets and you replaced it with that would be logical. That would make sense to me. But the people that they have working for them are not the brightest people.
What did you expect?
They're not the brightest people. And then when they come to when they get here, they put the code. They give them the information to get into your building, and you're like, okay, this is the instructions. I want you to dial this number. Yeah. I'll buzz you up. Knock on the door. Just leave them the groceries, and I will come get them. It goes back to the whole COVID thing with no contact or whatever. Like, obviously, like I can greet you at the door, but I'm just like, just leave the groceries and I'll get them. So the person comes to the door. And they just messaged me, it's not working. Well, did you dial the number? Because my phone didn't ring to buzz you up. Oh, hold on. It's not working. This person wanted me to come downstairs to come and pick the groceries up from them so that they wouldn't have to come upstairs. I'm like, but that's your job. Yeah. And that's why I'm tipping you. And let me throw this out there, too. This is part of the double complaint. Walmart is not anywhere near
I was
I
going
live.
to ask where that was.
It's nowhere near where I live. The closest Walmart to me, I believe, is I think the one that the shopping is done is in Burbank. Okay, so when they're assessing fees, they charge you a long distance fee, which is an additional like $12 or $13. I think it depends on the subtotal of your groceries, and then on top of that, you are supposed to tip the driver. And then once I found out that the driver is getting a portion, if not all, of that long distance fee, I was like, I'm gonna tip each driver like $5 because they automatically set it to like 20% or whatever. But then you want to show up to my house and you want to you want me to come down and get the groceries, and then you want to give me rotten tomatoes.
Yeah.
The frozen food is thawed out, which means that you had my cart sitting off to the side before you left because you were maybe trying to do multiple orders.
Right.
And you want me to give, so I went back in there and I was like, I'm going to give you $2 and I'm going to drop this tip back down. And I'm going to go to the app and I'm going to complain about the fact that you were late and give you 1 star. And that makes me sound like a Karen right now. It really does. It really does. But what I'm saying is if I'm paying you that much money just to get the groceries to me, can you get them to me on time and can you get them to me not?
No, those days are long gone.
Accurately?
No.
Yeah.
Does that happen often, though?
It happens a lot. But the good thing about Instacart, and this is not an Instacart ad, but if you want to sponsor us, please do. What you can do is you can go in and you can like do like you can file like a help issue or whatever, and generally they will like refund you immediately to your card the items that you're saying are like poor quality or whatever. That's the good thing about them. But like,
There's no accountability anymore, and that person probably hates his job and his life.
Well, I mean, it's probably a side gig or it's something that he doesn't want to do.
right.
And it's LA. He's probably in the entertainment industry and he doesn't give a shit.
well, yeah, but it's not gonna. It's
You
not
said
gonna
it.
help
give a
you.
fuck.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
But it's not going to help you if you get 1 star because it's going to bring your score down, and then eventually they're just going to cut
He's
you
still-
off.
Do they? That's the problem.
I think he's past the point of caring. You know, when you're delivering food for Walmart, you probably might.
Yeah, he's probably pissed that you sent him to fucking Walmart.
I don't know. I think they like camp out there and like wait for orders to come in. And I don't know.
Listen, I started
All right.
as a dishwasher. Like, no joke, washing dishes at a Standard Hotel was my first gig. This is lower than that.
Yeah, Walmart.
What you gotta do?
At least Walmart in the South, it's like, it's an experience.
Yeah.
All right, my complaint. This will be a quick one. Daylight savings time or daylight savings time ending. I cannot stand it. I think
Dude,
it
it's the
does
worst,
worse.
man.
It does worse than it does good.
Why do we still do it, man?
I think it has a mental effect on everyone, especially when it gets dark earlier. And I think
Wasn't it proven it has a health effect?
it does have a
Really?
health effect.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it specifically affects us, not just Los Angelenos, but anyone in Southern California,
Yep.
because we typically have sunshine 330 days a year. So when there's a little bit of absence of it, we feel it. We feel it when there's a rainy day. We feel it when it's not, X amount of hours during the day. I just don't think that it's necessary anymore. And I understand like the background for it was supposed to be for like agricultural reasons for the farmers. But most of that shit is done.
Who gives a shit about the farmers?
That's done through machines now.
People like food.
They could do that at night. There's no reason for it. Why do we still have to deal with it? Wasn't there a legislative bill passed? Why?
But I think that happens. They say that, and I read articles when daylight savings time is coming up in the fall. I always see these news articles coming out about doing away with daylight savings time, and nothing ever changes. Like it just doesn't change. It stays the same. And I think Trump said something about getting rid of it too, just like he said something about lowering egg prices. But we see how that's going. So.
All right, guys. Well, I guess that
Shit sure isn't cheap, I'll tell you that.
it isn't, but it's definitely unnecessary. And my complaint of the week. Let's jump into our topics of the week. We're going to go with our normal format this week. Theo, tell me about this new 30,000 side hustle, making job referrals for a stranger.
All right.
Jeez, what are you doing? Gay porn? 30 grand a week or a month?
I don't think they make that much money.
I was going to say, man, I'm about to
some
get
of
into
them
gay porn
do.
if you make
Some of them do.
You think so?
Don't gay bait. Don't do it.
Some of them probably do make that amount.
Then no, they do. Some of them do. For
I
sure.
would do a lot of things for 30 grand a week. Yeah.
I'm just saying,
You
like,
heard it first.
the job market is terrible right now. I'm transitioning into trying to get more into like a corporate type role, and it's tough out there right now. I know a lot of people out there, can relate to me when it comes to that. And one of the things that has been going on recently is there are people that are referring complete strangers for positions within their company for a payout. So
What?
say, for example, like I have a friend, he works for CAA, and there was a job in their tech department, and I was like, okay, can you get me a referral, because that might give me a better chance of at least having my resume reviewed, and possibly getting an interview. And he was able to give me a referral for that position. And obviously, he didn't charge me anything. He's a friend of mine, and he knows me personally, and he knows, what I've been studying for the last several years. So he knows that I could bring the goods or whatever. There was this article that came up on my feed about this man. He's working. It said over an 18-month period, there's one tech worker who recommended more than 1,000 candidates to his employer, and it resulted in a successful hire of more than half a dozen. And his payout and referral bonuses was $30,000. Now, all of these referrals were complete strangers. He didn't know any of them, and there's actually an app. It's called Blind, and it's a free app that is used by 12 million tech workers to anonymously discuss their employers, and it also allows for job seekers to go on and request referrals from people. And some of these people charge they're like per referral like $25 or whatever it is. So like say for example, like with this guy that I'm mentioning right now, he referred more than 1,000 candidates. My friend, when he referred me to like at least 2 positions, and they're like, oh, you've already had 2 referrals. They like chopped him off. They're like, you can't refer any more people. This guy managed to be able to refer 1,000 people, and made $30,000 profit off of that.
Wow.
So, my question is this fair? And also, everybody that's recently within the last few years been applying to jobs, I think is familiar with ATS. ATS is an application tracking system, and basically it looks for keywords in your resume. This is all done with AI or whatever software tools, and it shoots out a score. And if I think a lot of these recruiters, if your score is at a certain level, then you might get passed on and possibly have an opportunity for an interviewing to get seen. And one of the statistics that I wanted to share with you guys, if you've applied for a job recently within the last few years, you've probably seen greenhouse.io. It's like a hiring platform. And one of their data points is while external applicants have a 1 in 200 chance of being hired, those with referrals have a 1 in 25 chance. So your chances increase dramatically. And then internal applicants, the ultimate known quantity, have a 1 in 5 chance of getting hired, though they typically only make up 0.1% of the candidates, according to Greenhouse. So do you guys think that this is like a fair thing as far as like it being, I mean, I guess everybody has a fair chance if you're willing to pay somebody to give you a referral, but I wanted to know what you guys thought about that.
I think, and now that I'm currently in transition as well, and I'm filling out.
You guys just scared me with some in transition phase.
It's a transition time of life.
Please that I'm transitioning, you're transitioning. Fuck, man, you guys are rubbing off
If I
on
was
me.
transitioning that way, it'd be a long road.
A lot of hormones, medication.
Hills and valleys. Happy travel.
Yes.
Since the last time that I was searching for a job, I've noticed that when I would go to apply for a job, there was a HRIS platform that I would hate to encounter. It was called Workplace or Workday.
Oh, I hate that one. I
just
hate it.
So much shit you would have to
Yeah.
do. Like, this is fucking unnecessary. This is unnecessary. And I've noticed that the application process for most jobs have gotten a lot faster, and which is great. Because you know it's not as time consuming if you're an applicant, but the downside of that is things like Workday used to weed out the people that didn't want to do them, and I would sit there and do it. But now if you can just speed through it. It takes me nothing to apply.
For Workday now?
Maybe not Workday, but I think the other HRS systems have all adapted to similar to, I think it was Greenhouse or something like
Greenhouse
that.
is one,
which is pretty. It was pretty quick, and it was a lot of autofill. But they're all moving to that format, and it's I'll sit there and I'll apply, and in an hour I can apply to a lot of companies, in which basically I kind of have to like sit on alert as they come up. Great for the applicant in terms of your labor and time, but if it's so easy for everyone, and you're looking at LinkedIn, and the job has only been posted for 53 minutes, and there's already 100 applicants.
Yeah.
What's the likelihood that you're going to get seen? So, if I think that if it's a job that you really want, or that you would be good for, I think that anything that gets you that in, you should go for it.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. There are lots of jobs that I see that I'm like, oh, I would be perfect for this job. Just if I had a referral to just get in. Somebody.
What are you looking for? Like, what's your dream? What's
I mean,
the,
I don't necessarily have my dream job was to be an actor, and that didn't happen. Well, it happened, but it didn't happen the way I wanted it to happen, right? So
it could still happen.
now-
Look at Bryan Cranston. Didn't have his
can.
break for till he's freaking 46, and now he's the biggest actor in the world.
You're right, but I have to be making that effort right now. I'm
Look
more
at
so
me.
just
It didn't
on
happen for
stability.
me until I was 32. Now
Well, I'm more so now looking for something I'm looking for stability.
Right.
So that's what's more important to me right now. But I think
Is there such a thing in life anymore?
I don't know. I feel like the thing about it is that like I don't have an extra $25, $50 to throw to somebody to give me a referral for a job. So let's say for example, there's like even right now when I'm applying to positions, like I've looked at the jobs that I've been applying to, and I've been applying to positions since September. Over 2,100 applications.
Wow.
Over 2,100 applications, and they pile up fast when you have like an easy apply or something that you know what you said earlier.
For you international watchers, just to tell you how bad it is in the USA right now, he's black and gay in West Hollywood and cannot get a job.
None of those things. None of those things have anything to do with me getting a
Completely
job.
irrelevant.
Unless I'm dancing on a box, which I am not going to be doing anytime soon.
Wait a second. You'll probably make it $500 a night.
I'm not going to be dancing on a box, and I'm not going to be posted up on a corner. I'm just saying that. So I'm just saying, like, I mean, people that are able to do this, like, that's great that you can do that. And these people that are benefiting from making their referrals, like, is that like what's the term I'm looking for? This guy made $30,000 in a referral bonus. He didn't know any of these people. Is that unethical in some way?
No, it's not unethical. What it is, it's like everything else. It's unmoral. It sucks, man. It sucks. And what it is, it has no respect for, like you said, the integrity of the process of getting the right person there. It's just another way to. It's always the people in between that win, right? It's a little bit like war. It's never the people that make war that win. It's the arms dealers, right?
Gatekeeping. It's kind of like
Exactly.
LinkedIn.
That's all it
yeah.
is. You know what I mean?
LinkedIn,
Yeah.
if you pay the monthly fee,
Right.
$50 or $100 a
Right.
month,
Right.
that your application will be seen.
Exactly.
Else. So
you
it's
know
just
what I mean?
it's
pay
right.
to play.
If it's if it's right.
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
but-
and that sucks because it's always the good people that get screwed in the process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of it's capitalism at its finest, and
Yeah.
it's a double-edged sword, right? It's a double-edged. In a way, it's like, wow, dude, you really figured out how to make 30 grand in today's world.
Dude.
Respect, but on the other hand, look how you did it.
And
You
it's
know what I
due
mean?
to the current state
Right.
of things, because I remember during right after the pandemic, or when things started to open up, there was a lot of tech startups that happened, and like I couldn't apply to enough jobs. Like there was just so many of them. That's kind of why there's that tech bust, because a lot of them failed.
Right.
But because there's the job market is so competitive now, people are going. It's America, or any capitalist country. They're going to make a buck where they can, and if they can be the middleman for somewhere, I'm like, oh, I could do this, and someone will find a scheme for
That's
it.
exactly what it is. It's a scheme, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Right, well, I'm thank you for telling me that. I might hit that up later.
It's called. I mean, if you want to go to the website, it's actually it's a free app. It's called Blind, and they have it says the app is used by some 12 million tech workers. You can go there. You can discuss companies and find out if they would be like a fit for you, like their culture and everything, work-life balance. And they verify you. They verify people by their. They have to provide a valid work email address, but the email address is kept private, so people can't. It can't be traced back to.
All right, guys, you heard it first. If
Blind.
If you look for, was it Blind?
Blind is the name of the app.
All right. Well, thank you for that, Theo. Marko, it's a huge change of pace.
Yeah.
What is with all the anti-Semitism?
Yeah, what's with all the anti-Semitism?
And
Yeah.
can you elaborate? Like, is there a rise of anti-Semitism in general in this country? Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, obviously, look, we know what's going on politically in Israel. Obviously, America's Team Israel. There's no confusion about that. You know, but when I came to LA or this country, it was always kind of, being an immigrant, and it was always kind of minorities that helped me out. A lot of them were Jews. When I went corporate, I started door knocking in the hood on doors when I was building my insurance agencies. Made a lot of friends with, with the blacks, of course. And it was always Jews and blacks who helped me out, ironically. And so it's just kind of that question: what is it with the anti-Semitism with being on the rising? What am I missing, man? At what point do you get to that finish line where you say, "Hey, enough is enough. It's time to leave a certain group of people alone"? I feel like, with the black racism, it came to a point. Are we fully there? No, but I feel like we reached a point where it was like, "Hey, man, let's take a break, move on a little bit from it. Not fully, but okay, it's getting played out. You know, let's go somewhere else. And where do we go? We go right back to the Jews. You know, and what is it? What is it about this country, about this world, about this planet? After everything these people have been through, and I have a lot of Jewish friends, which I can see. The reason I brought this up, for you who don't know, is because I see a change in behavior of my Jewish friends. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you can tell there's like a fear factor to their existence. You can kind of pick up on it.
Yeah.
There's kind of their behavior is a little bit different. There's not that relaxation to it anymore. And it's not like they ever had that to begin with. But I'm looking at these protests and this pro-Hamas thing and this thing today in the news, and I'm like, dude, it's time to give these people a fucking break. It's enough, man. It's where do you draw the fucking line? And if I was in the racism business, I'd be bored at this point of it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, the Jew thing is played out, but is it just the perfect victim thing, or is there something I'm missing, man?
I'm not. In terms of racism against black people, I think that isn't necessarily as highlighted as much as anti-Semitism. So I don't think that it's played out. I think it's just become very normalized in this country just due to the history of this country. But to your point, in terms of anti-Semitism, I definitely think that there is a rise. I think that that particular group of people have been oppressed for thousands of years. We can look back to biblical times and move forward from there. I think that there's a strong correlation between anti-Semitism and the rise of white supremacy. Because
especially in Europe,
because when you talk about white supremacy in Europe, I think there's a lot of connection to the Third Reich and Hitler and the Nazi movement, and even the symbols, the dog whistling, a lot of the regalia, just a lot of your physical representations in terms of like art and tattoos and things like that. A lot of that harken back to the Third Reich, even though like the white supremacy movement is white supremacy above all racism, that's intrinsically tied to the Holocaust.
right?
And I think there's a lot of that.
Well, just some of the data points that I looked up. The Anti-Defamation League has reported a 360% surge in anti-Semitic incidents in the U.S. following the October 7th Hamas attack. And then in 2024 survey by the American Jewish Committee found that 93% of American Jews 93% of American Jews perceive anti-Semitism as a very serious or somewhat serious problem, a significant increase from the previous years. And I had mentioned something about, the re-election of Donald Trump, and you were saying the U.S. is obviously been pro-Israel the whole time, even before he got back into office, but there has been a surge in, there's been an uptick that aligns with the broader trend of rising anti-Semitism observed in recent years since his re-election in 2024. So I feel like that has something to do with just the people that, are MAGA, or are Trumpers who just are now like, okay, he's back in the White House, we can kind of do whatever the fuck we want to do, and cause some trouble to anybody that is perceived as different. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I also think there's, the conflict in Gaza has been going on for years, but obviously since the October 7th incident, and there's been a hyper laser focus of what's going on there, and I think that there's maybe more of awareness of what was actually happening in Gaza. So you have maybe people that were unaware of what was happening that are now taking a side. I think, to your point, you said America was typically pro-Israel, and maybe prior to that point, if you weren't, woke to what was happening there, or had any knowledge of what was happening there, you just kind of took that side as being an American. But I think now there's more awareness as to what was going on there, so people have more of an opinion. Some people are still pro-Israel, and some people are pro-Palestinian. I don't think we had that level of pro-Palestinian
That's very
stance,
true.
and I think that aids to.
Yeah, I
that
think
rise.
so too. Yeah. Shame. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that was a very interesting conversation. It sucks that we live in an era or time where there's a rise in anything of any type of phobia.
I mean, it's so crazy because we're now in 2025, and you think that we would have, progressed so much further past this.
Right.
But it's the same. It's always the same story. It's the same.
I always think with progress, though, when you progress forward in any type of movement, there's always going to be a backlash. And I think that, we can get into this on another topic or another day, but there's always going to be a backlash to that forward movement, especially if one side doesn't feel heard. What I wanted to talk about is a topic that's personal to me and part of my personal journey. And before I jump into it, to be clear, like the aim of what I'm about to talk about is not to explain myself to anyone, because I don't owe anyone an explanation.
You do me.
I don't.
Come on.
And neither does anyone.
Explain yourself.
Neither does anyone that's no one owes anyone an explanation about their personal journey. But my goal is for you, the viewers, to give like a raw view of myself in my journey. And there's no finger pointing. There's no playing the victim here. The goal is to illuminate my journey in terms of my own personal truth, and maybe this resonates with some of you and it helps you. This is rooted in my year last year was rough. And I have to rough. The overarching I guess 2 topics or keywords that you could attach to this would be like a emotional codependency, which would have been on substances as well as people, places, and things, partying, and people pleasing and things that I've learned about myself. So, what I'm talking about is how we spend, or some of us, those of us who are people pleasers and didn't quite know that, are how we spend our time, and we spend our times pouring so much into other people and fixing other people's problems, being the strong one, and then one day you look in the mirror and you're like, damn, who's taking care of me? And you know whose responsibility that is? You. It's no one's responsibility to take care of you besides yourself.
Yeah, but it's so much more fun if somebody else does it.
It does, but that's no one's responsibility to do that. And if you want to be the person that does that for other people, fine, but you have to have boundaries. And I would say for me, for a long time, I feel like I was the friend, like the problem solver. Someone needs something, I'm there. And I liked that role. And I didn't think anything was wrong with that role. And then one day I realized I was running on empty. And, for those of you who are out there, it's like an example of that is like maybe you always say yes to people even though you're exhausted. maybe you guys have, and we've probably all done this to some extent, but I was doing it on a much larger extent.
I did it tonight. I didn't want to come, but I did it for you guys.
Okay,
We didn't want you here, bro.
I said yes.
he actually did want to leave.
Marko, can you please come? I'm like, I'll do it for you guys.
Maybe you play, therapists to your friends when your plate's full, or maybe you let people drain you because you felt responsible for them. But the key phrase is that is you let them drain you. That it's your responsibility to set those boundaries. And the problem is that when you're giving everything away and nothing for yourself, which is what I felt like I was doing. No, I don't feel like I know that's what I was doing. You leave nothing for you leave nothing for yourself. You eventually, something's got to give, and that thing is going to be yourself, because as one of the awakenings that I've had is that I was abandoning myself in a lot of these instances, and people have a variety of coping mechanisms. Mine were people, places, and partying. I've been partying for a long time. It was fun. I've been partying since I was 16. And
You sound like you're stopping.
no, I mean, but there's been a different. We'll get to that. I had fun, but however, there was a point where I saw red flags, and I was partying. I was partying, and it was fun having wild nights, was blurred into the morning. It was freedom. It was escape. It was fun, and then it wasn't. And there was a point, and I think I even might have even mentioned it to you like earlier in 2024. I'm like, I feel like I'm numbing, or I feel like I'm like this isn't fun anymore. Like there's a slippery slope of partying, and if you party hard, and in our culture, our gay culture, not every gay person parties. Let's put that out there, but we have a party culture, and you can do that, and you can maintain. But if you overextend yourself, or if you start having external factors that are outside of your control that impact you, that can easily slip into a dangerous coping mechanism. That doesn't mean that just because you have external factors that those are to blame. Your coping mechanisms are your coping mechanisms, and that's what was mine.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Did you feel like you were saying yes to everything and everyone, right?
You saw me go to party after
Yes,
party.
yes. I remember there was a
You saw
day,
me do that.
I remember this day. I think you went to you were in Palm Springs, and then you came back to LA and went to something.
I was in Palm Springs for someone's birthday party, and then there was a party at your old place for one of your friends, and because I told them yes, I wanted to show up for them.
Yes,
because I just met them.
Okay, so then did you feel like that these people would everybody that you were saying yes to, if you said no to them, did you feel like they would just like cut you out?
No.
Or just okay.
No, that's the thing about being a people pleaser is you show up. I'm authentically myself, but you're mirroring back what you think people want.
Okay.
It may not be what it is that they're expecting from you. You're doing what you think you have to do.
Okay.
And it's something that you're doing. You've been doing it. I've been doing it habitually for so long. I didn't even know that I was doing it. If you had called me a people pleaser before then, I would have been like, no, I'm not, because I would have defined that as a doormat, which that I'm not necessarily. If you confront me, there's going to be a confrontation. But I will overextend myself. I also will take on other people's problems that aren't people's problems aren't yours to fix, but I will take that on because I feel like I have to help you. I have to do that. So no, I don't think that
You got to become more selfish.
Well, we're getting to that.
Oh.
That's where we're getting to, and so like I was saying, like once I realized it was numbing, the highs weren't as high as the lows were lower. The recovery was longer, and I remember the point when I wasn't chasing a good time and I was running from myself, and you abandon yourself, and you don't realize that at that point you start avoiding yourself. At that point, you don't want to be alone, so you start seeking out all of these things, and that's what I was doing. And the dangerous that led to a slippery slope, which I'm alive to tell you led to me ended up dying. Like I literally medically died. I woke up in the middle of the of a ER hallway. It took them. I coded out twice. Took them twice to resuscitate me.
Don't look at the foreigner for that word, man. He's looking over for help, like,
Help me out here, Marko.
bitch, I barely speak
Give it to
English.
me in Serbian.
I wouldn't even know, dude.
And that was like, that was a wake-up call. There was a period, I'm not going to go into more details around that, but that was a wake-up call in terms of like something that's got to give, and no one's coming to save you, and you have to do this by yourself. So for me, the to your point, Marko, is you do have to start setting boundaries. You have to say no and prioritizing yourself. You have to not be everyone's I don't want to call them emotional dumping grounds, but like you want to be there for people because I enjoy that, but you have to know when you can't do that.
Oh, dude, man, my whole life was coming through for everybody because I needed to be validated and be told, oh man, because of you, my situation is better now.
Right.
But it always came at the cost at the end of me being alone and broke, and not just financially, emotionally.
Right. That was me, and so I think with me. When you start being selfish and you're not used to people aren't used to, let's not call it selfish, when you start having boundaries and you start saying no or you start retreating, and I honestly, I think you mentioned in a previous episode, you mentioned about me being alone. I'm like, I am alone, but I'm not lonely.
Right, alone. Never
There was a time where if I was sitting alone in my house, I would have felt extremely lonely. Yeah. And now, when I'm alone at home, it's hard for me to sometimes want to even leave my house.
Right. No,
not because I'm a recluse, but I like being, and I think I've told you this before. I'm like, I like being alone.
Absolutely.
A lot, and I think I realize that like when you set boundaries and people, or you just change, people aren't used to change. They're used to seeing you a certain way, and if you have to be prepared to upset people, because that's going to happen. You have to be prepared to be the villain. You have to be prepared, and that's in anything. Like people can let people talk about you. You need to do you.
I think you underestimate how many people in your circle might have. You might not be aware how many people had their claws on you without you even being aware to take advantage of you being like that. See, here's the worst thing that can happen to your friends. Mm-hmm. And I'm the living proof of that. The worst thing that can happen to your friends is you becoming successful and not needing them anymore.
Yes.
It's the absolute fucking worst thing that can happen. I remember I never saw that more profound than when I was at Ledoux. It was always like, when I saw Lindsay Lohan or Paris Hilton, it wasn't them who fell. It was always their best friends. Have another drink.
Yeah.
Have another drink. Have another drink. Have another drink. Because the worst thing that can happen to your friend is you becoming a huge fucking star and making it, and you not needing them anymore,
or them just even thinking that's a possibility, or them changing.
Exactly.
Like I'm just wanting. I'm not doing what you're used to me.
Absolutely,
doing.
And they know you can't say no.
Yeah.
And they know you can't say no.
Or you start saying no. And that's,
well, exactly. But they'll find a way. Listen, man, I was like you, man. My whole purpose in life was to get to the point where you say, "Thank you, Marko, because of you now my day was a success," or you saved me, or you this and that.
Yeah.
I had that incredible inferiority where I needed to be told, okay, you because of you now my situation is better, to the point where I'll give up the last $4 I have for you to be better. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it was never kind of reciprocated in return. So you gotta, people tell you in life, don't burn bridges. I tell you, man, may the bridges I burn light the way, dude.
Yeah.
The best thing you'll ever do in life is burn some bridges and start radically over. You know what I mean? It's like Theo and I talked about that a lot in the last few years. He's like, I'm learning coding, I'm reinventing myself, the active, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Good for you, man. When I quit insurance, best thing I ever did, it was from a Friday to a Saturday. You know what I mean? There's no such thing as, dude, you got to be sometimes radical.
Right.
You got to make a change. There's no, the biggest bullshit is, like, I used to smoke for 20 years as a teenager, right? And it's like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to quit, but I'm only going to smoke on weekends. I'm only going to smoke when I drink. I'm only going to smoke on my birthday, or, it's all, dude. And then and you never really quit. The day I quit, I knew I was going to quit.
Yeah.
And I walked right into Fox and Hounds where you could still smoke back then, and I could sit right next to smokers. It wouldn't even faze me.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I
You
quit
gotta
smoking
make it-
until I started vaping. But I
Right.
quit smoking for 5 years, and it was the same thing. Like, I just decided to quit.
Right.
I think for one of the things that someone pointed out, and I didn't realize was an issue, was I'm also hyper independent. And maybe some other people can relate to that. I'm so independent that I want to handle it alone.
Right. Yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
reach out to anyone, and it's also a protective measure. And
course.
I think people, to your point, there are people that were with claws, but I think there's also genuine friends that felt pushed away.
Of course,
But they don't understand
Yep.
that's exactly what you need.
Yep.
So you
Gotta
know
put yourself first, man.
you do, and then in terms of again, I'm telling you guys this this isn't an explanation. I want to share this with you guys because I hope it helps someone, whoever feels like they're in that space. Fuck everybody else.
Really, yeah.
Take
Agreed.
the time that you need, because you're going to do self-excavations. You're going to have awakenings and layers and things that you discover about yourself. Your mindset about the situation will change. Healing isn't linear. Sometimes your old self will call and you will answer that motherfucker. And that's okay. Sometimes it's not bad to have parts of that in your new version. But you don't owe anyone anything. You owe everything to yourself. And so, in closing, you're not selfish for prioritizing yourself and setting boundaries. And so, one of the things that I want you guys to ask yourself, if you felt like you've been in that place, and I've asked myself, I'm still asking myself this, is who are you outside of what you do for others, and who are you, and not just like specific people in your life. In general, are you showing up as your authentic self? And if you don't know who that is, your journey at that point should be finding out who that is. I'm not talking about showing up for specific people, but for others. I just wanted to share that and I thank you for chiming in with,
Yeah,
your
I get it,
anecdote.
dude. I've been there, man.
Any other questions on that? I really hope that helps people.
Well, you're saying that
Okay, so that's all we want to talk.
well, you're saying emotional codependency on substances. So is that what you were experiencing during this whole time?
Yes, because, and I discovered this through a therapist. A chemical dependency is an actual addiction. Mm-hmm. That's something where you physically cannot go without something. You experience withdrawals, blah blah blah. Mine was coping, numbing, or fueling me bouncing to showing up for everyone. In order for me to go to all those parties, you need energy to do that.
Yes, of course.
But also another thing that it wasn't just numbing. I realized I associate happy
with that
too.
Yeah,
so when I get really happy and I want to go celebrate, what do I want to go do? What I know to go do.
Yes.
Well, listen. There's also there's also another factor. You get to the point where we are, where the road ahead is shorter than the road behind.
I wish you would stop saying that.
No, but that's true. On my birthday, I was having that.
I say that to myself once a week.
I'm like,
right,
I have 21 good years left.
Yeah.
Or 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
What do I want to spend it doing? I don't want to spend it with a bunch of bullshit.
It's not just that, but I don't know about you guys, but man, dude, I was talking to Samantha the other day. Bro, I have 80% of my fucking friends are gone, and they were between the age of 35 and 45.
Oh, Jesus.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Scaring me.
No, I'm saying, dude, Nikki's gone, a cancer. Kevin's gone, cancer. Masumi Max, fentanyl. My music video girl, accidental. One of those like Prince that was taken partying and it was laced with fentanyl. Josh, fucking cancer. My uncle, fucking. Fair enough. My granddaughter. The parents are next in line, and you come to the point where And yeah, you can maybe say, look, we're lucky to be where we are. It's shit everywhere. At least here you can do either Kardashian or the George Clooney thing, or Denzel get from nothing to something. In a lot of countries you can't even do that. But man, you gotta be really now at a point where you say, dude, if you're not part of me getting ahead, I don't want you in my life, and that's totally okay.
Yeah,
that's okay, because the worst thing you're gonna do to yourself, trust me, man. I wasted 10 years that I wish I could get back, is prolonging something that I knew wasn't gonna get me there anyway.
yeah.
And I guess in offense we can call it a waste of time. Wait, dude, you don't have time.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna blink. You're done, dude.
Exactly.
You're gone tomorrow, man.
That's what I.
And I already have regrets. And people say don't have regrets. Look, man, I say
Everybody has regrets.
Yeah.
I don't wanna say it.
I
Regrets.
Yeah. If you don't have regrets, you haven't lived a life. You know what I
Right.
mean, I say that. I know what they say, what they mean when they say don't have regrets. But for me, things started changing. Well, two reasons. For one, the first thing it took was for me to hit rock bottom and start blaming everybody else. Because I was doing, man, it's your fault. I'm not where I want to be.
Yeah.
I was the perfect victim. I tell you, it was always somebody else's fault. You get good at that shit. It's hard to break out of that shit, right? But once I conquered that, the next thing was like, dude, fuck everybody.
Yeah. And I went
Fuck
to that
everybody.
space.
Like
And some
seriously,
days I'm
fuck
in
everybody.
that space.
Fuck everybody. Dude, fuck everybody. The moment I don't. And people on fucking Facebook politics. Dude, where the fuck, dude? If you're on Facebook talking about fucking Kamala or Trump, dude. Do you know how many? Really, dude? That you just wasted 5 minutes. You and I could have clicked submitting for something. At least that would have been a better fuck. You know what I'm saying?
I do that because for me, I'm
know
like,
what I mean?
I'm like
Be selfish,
wanting
man.
to be, I like to be political, so that it's something for me. But yes, there's a lot of things that I realize that like just aren't.
Yeah, but you have that. Most people don't have
Once
that.
you start sitting with yourself and you start like realizing all the different parts of yourself that you were abandoning to maybe fit into certain environments, which are okay to do, but not when you're completely abandoning yourself. to do that.
Agreed. But most people don't even have this outlet that we have.
Yeah.
Dude, how many people do you know that can actually come together like we do and actually talk about it?
No, and that's why I wanted to.
I tell you one thing, Fox isn't it, and The View isn't it.
No.
It's one extreme or the other. I don't know if a single fucking thing where three people can come together and be like, okay, well, this and that, discuss and fucking look up gay terms and have fun with it and actually talk openly about it because they know they're not going to be offended. But that's because you're at the point now where you don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck. I'm also at the point where I can talk about it and I understand it more than I ever did.
There you
And
go.
I also understand, and for the sake of accountability, because that's the main, point of this is
Right.
you can't. This is all. People's actions are their karma. How you react to it will be yours, and vice versa. So you can't necessarily blame that. Oh, this happened. They did this, and that's why I did this. No, you coped with it.
100%.
You could have chosen
100%.
to cope with it.
Yeah,
in a
100%.
different
Do you
way.
feel like you're
And I have to
reaching-
look at that.
Do you feel like you're reaching the point of I don't give a fuck anymore?
Yeah, but yeah.
On that note, thank you for watching.
there's a lot more to it than that. You know what I mean? For
Yeah.
me, like, just going through, getting older and
Well, fuck you. You
accepting
look
where
the
you
same age
are.
like you did 30 years ago. There's this black don't
radical-
crack shit. It's true. The black don't crack is true. I'm sitting 2 feet away from him. This fucking asshole looks exactly like when I met him. Fucking in 2001. This fucking guy, dude, the same muscles, the same skin. I'm doing
Take
Botox.
care of yourself.
Okay, listen to me.
Take care of yourself.
I'm doing Botox. I had a hair transplant. Okay, I have veneers.
Looks good.
Yeah, thanks. And I'm.
I didn't notice. You just showed me earlier.
I have no problem admitting. Okay, I just pumped 5 G's last weekend to me. Okay, that this black motherfucker next to me didn't have to spend.
Well-
You owe me $2,500 since we're partners. Okay,
Being gay is higher maintenance than that.
well, fair enough.
I literally had a spa day today before you guys were here, so I had a mud mask, had it all. Trust me, yeah.
Asians and blacks, man. I'm telling you, man, it's crazy.
Thank you guys. Again, my point in doing that is like I hope that I'm now that I'm at a point where I can articulate my experience.
Good for
I
you,
didn't
man.
go
Good for you, yeah.
in depth to everything because I don't think that that's necessary. But I do think that for the sake of this like the show and the platform that we have, we do talk about a lot of things. That's something that, especially now that I'm not employed, I can't talk about. I want, I hope that that does something for someone, and if you know, also at being at the point where you're like you're saying, Marco, I don't give a fuck.
Don't give
So
a fuck.
You are welcome. Your opinion is no. That's none of my business. And my goal isn't to change your opinion. My goal is to.
And I used to care what people think.
Yeah, I
about
definitely.
me. I used to
if
care.
You're a people pleaser, you
Yeah,
for sure.
you really
what
care.
People think.
You really care.
You really
dude.
care, and then you really.
And
have to
then they
realize
own you. They own you.
And the second you change, they don't know
you.
how to handle that.
They
So
own
you
you.
have to like learn to just go
Telling you,
inside
man.
and be like, if you're mad, I don't know what to tell you.
The worst thing that you will do to your friends and your family, even more so, is become successful.
No.
That's the worst thing that will happen, man. It will fuck you and them twice over. But it's also what will separate you finally and give you that hey, it's okay to be on my own. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We went very deep there. I like it.
Yes.
thank you guys for that, for allowing me to do
My
that.
number
I
is
hope
1-800 hotline in case.
I intended to
He
like
pays you.
I intended to post some sort of resource, so I hope that we could do something like that in case someone does need some sort of assistance. But I do want to end on a positive note and a quick one.
Me.
No, just a
damn
quick
it.
note. Like, so to end on a positive note, and I know there's probably many. What is a feel-good song? Whether it's you can define that however you want. Like, what is a favorite feel-good song that you have? Whether it's to get you going to go to the gym, whether it's going out and not in the town, or just like pick me up. What is one song? You might have
Oh man, there's
1,100 of them,
Yeah.
but what comes to your head?
Oh my God, that's tough.
My band, bitch.
What's the name of your band?
The
Oh, the
Vaticans?
Vaticans.
The Vaticans.
The Vaticans.
The Vaticans.
The Vaticans.
With a T, Vatican, but with a T. T-S, Vaticans.
Vaticans.
Vatican.
Gosh. Are you gonna say one of your songs?
No, I've been blasting. What's her name? Sia yesterday. I'm unstoppable.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm
that's
a
good one.
Porsche with no brakes. I'm invincible. Oh man, I don't know what it is about a song. It gets me. You know what I mean? But then I can also listen to Simon Garfunkel and be inspired. But man, Sia is her name, right?
Yes, her voice is amazing.
Dude, I was blasting that shit, man. Just that song. I mean, there's so many. You know, Jump, Van Halen. That song will get you every time. You know.
I mean,
But,
it's tough for me to answer that question because I listen to everything.
Yeah, same here.
But I
Man.
guess more so recently, I'm revisiting. I don't know if you guys know who Basement Jacks are.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I'm revisiting them, and because it takes me back to my college days, and they had a lot of fun songs like Red Alert, Romeo. Like those are all like I have fun memories from a lot of those songs.
Shit, lately I think about a lot about college, and
Yeah.
I start thinking a lot more about, especially college days and younger. And I'm at the, I think I'm in a midlife crisis, man.
Wait a
You and
minute.
me both.
You know what? there were so many
You and
different
me
bands.
both.
So many different bands that you listen to. Like
yeah.
No,
I loved Garbage. I loved
I was all over the
And then they
place,
pop up
yeah,
and you,
yeah,
you
yeah.
have that nostalgia.
Cranberries. I was so sad
Yeah.
when Dolores
Right Said
O'Riordan-
Fred.
Yes, like all that. good
Actually,
stuff.
like Hole with Courtney Love.
Yes, so many
but
good things.
What one song that pops to in my mind, and I kind of just came up with this segment on a whim, is "Today Was a Good Day" by Ice Cube.
Oh yeah.
song.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just karaokeing. Fun enough, Erasure. Show a little respect.
Aretha Franklin.
No, Erasure. Yeah, because in Europe they were huge. All that shit was gigantic. You know what I mean? So it's always a karaoke song of ours.
What is
Respect.
your go-to karaoke song? Is it that
Erasure, Respect. Yeah.
That's the one?
Erasure, Respect. Backstreet Boys.
What was that song that I used to sing all the time?
Fuck yeah, there's so many. Purple Rain, of course. You know, shit like that. You know.
Oh, what's the song called? Bleeding in my hands. What is the band called?
Bleeding in my
In
hands.
my hands.
Sounds like a gospel song.
Yeah, I was thinking
bleeding in
like
my
I was
head.
singing cranberries in my head, in my head.
What was that song?
In my head, bleeding in my head. What the fuck?
It was such a good, and I would always sing it.
Bleeding in my head. Oh wow, that's some dark death metal
All right,
shit.
well, while Theo thinks of that,
You know what?
Again,
Put the title underneath in our
I
closing.
will once I remember what it
Thank you
was.
guys for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Thank you for holding space for all of us, especially for me. Please continue to like, subscribe, follow. Definitely comment in the comment sections. We will see you next week.
Oh, wait a minute before we go. I just
This
thought
motherfucker just ruined my tag.
fuel hemorrhage.
Oh,
yeah, I remember.
That was like my
Hemorrhage.
karaoke song that I was singing.
yeah.
I love
Wow.
that song. And
Damn.
Duck and Chic.
Damn.
Barely breathing.
Damn. That's some deep shit right there.
know, right?
Fuck. All right. Respect.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
all right, guys.
See ya.
See you later.
Hey.